Hey guys, HCGChica. I am checking in to give you an update. It's round 4 VLCD12. Whew, it has really been an exercise in patience this round. It's been unlike any other round that I've had. And, no doubt it's because I'm a lot smaller than I was, which is fine. But yeah, it's been really interesting. Just to kind of give you an idea what's been going on. After my first VLCD day, I dropped like 2.5 pounds of fat, and then I dropped another pound during the next 3 days. I really only track my body fat these days. Like I take note of my weight, but I almost don't even notice that now. So I'm just kind of sharing this with you for the moment. So I started at 133.8 after loading, and I had a 1 pound gain loading. And then I went down to 131.6, but lost 2.5 pounds of fat from 33.5 to 31. And then over the next 3 days, I went down to 30 pounds of fat. But I've been staying like right at 30 pounds of fat, despite a couple weight fluctuations up and down. But my fat has been at 30 for 7 days. I guess it's not that long, but I don't know. It feels like a long time to be eating the 500, and to not lose any fat at all. It's like, okay, what's my body living on? It's not muscle because I wasn't losing weight either. So, and I wasn't hungry. I'm not hungry, so I'm like, what am I getting by on? So, it's just a testament to how complex our bodies are, and how they don't work like clockwork according to just, things that we can always know about. So anyway, I've been stuck at that. I've had 2 days where my ketones were at 40, but other than that, they've been 15 or trace. And then actually, as of the last 2 days, they're totally negative on the sticks. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm not in ketosis or that I'm not losing fat. I'm just mentioning because it's interesting to note. And what I did do the last few days, just as an experiment, since I do have a couple modifications that I make to the original protocol, I wanted to, check and see if that was affecting me. So one day I removed the stevia entirely. I found I didn't end up really drinking as much that day because I'm so used to drinking all my liquids, in these quart jars with tea and stevia. So it's funny. It just doesn't go down as smoothly without that slightly sweet taste. So I did no stevia that day. And the next day my scale weight was down a pound, but my fat was still the same, and my ketones were actually negative the following day, which I had thought, if the stevia somehow is affecting my ketones, removing it will make it go higher, but actually it was even lower. So, and I kind of assumed that weight loss at that point was just like a little bit of dehydration because I really didn't drink hardly as much that prior day because I'm not having the stevia. So that's what happened that day. So yesterday, I decided to go ahead and just take out the shiitake noodles. I have the ones that are, sorry, the light's changing, that are made from just soluble fiber. I had them my entire round last round, and I lost over 16 pounds of fat, 90% fat. So it's not really something that I feel could affect my fat loss, because to me it's like, it's like saying if you eat cardboard, it's going to prevent fat loss. I just don't think it's really possible, but, it's interesting to just try taking things out. So I did remove that yesterday, and I had the stevia. I'm very excited to report my results today, as long as they stick, because I finally dropped down to 28.5 pounds of fat from 30. So I had 1.5 pounds fat loss after being stuck at 30 pounds for over a week. Ketones were negative again. So that I just thought that was really interesting. I'm going to leave out the shiitake noodles again today, just to continue my experiment. But to me, it's most likely that it would have dropped today anyway. I'm kind of starting to have a strong feeling that 30 pounds of fat on my body is like a set point for me. Because I was actually stuck at 30 pounds of fat for almost an entire week, I think, last round as well, and that was at the end of my round. So I think it's very interesting how that works. And I was kind of thinking about it because I don't know if you guys have ever experienced this. I'm assuming you have, because that's what set points are all about. It seems like, you know, as you were gaining weight, this happened to me as I was gaining weight, there was some point where I would just end up staying for quite some time. I remember being 160 pounds and just hovering around that weight for a long time, you know, like a couple years, where it kind of seemed like no matter what I ate, even if I ate a lot or really sugary or really bad, my weight would still stay the same. Whereas at other points, if I were to eat that way, I would gain weight real quickly. So, you know, I don't know what it is exactly that, you know, I think possibly part of what creates those set points is you somehow, you know, keeping your body at that certain weight for a long enough period of time, whether it's, you know, by accident or on purpose, so that eventually it becomes this set point. And then after that, when you make adjustments and stuff, your body just tends to stay at that weight. So I don't know. That's just what I was thinking about. So anyway, that could have been what it is. We'll see. I'm hoping it won't bounce right back up to 30 pounds of fat tomorrow. We'll see. And also, I still have to have my hydrostatic test at the end of this round so that I can really see where I'm at. I use my Omron handheld body fat monitor, for any of you who don't know. You can get it on Amazon for like $30. Not everyone has found it to be consistent, but for myself, it has been very consistent in the past, and has always matched up very closely with my hydrostatic body fat results. So I've always been able to kind of rely on it. I will be interested to see this time, you know, as a person gets smaller. I don't know if it's less effective. I'm not sure. So that's what I've been using, though, to track my body fat. And like I said, I write down my weight, but I don't even, I don't know, I just totally don't care about that at all. I just care about where my fat gets and my body fat percent. So as of the moment, I'm 127 pounds. I've lost 6.6 pounds in 11 VLCD days, and I'm at 22.5% body fat on my Omron, which means I've lost 5 pounds of fat in the 11 VLCD days. So 6.6 pounds on the scale, 5 pounds of fat. That's a pretty good ratio. That's not bad, you know, especially because I'm hoping that a little bit above that 5 pounds is just water that will come back into my muscles as soon as I start working out again. So that's where I'm at. I thought this round would go really fast, but in fact, it hasn't been going fast. It's amazing. Like, wow, it's actually only been 11 days, and it made me realize that actually, you know, I'm doing pretty good. As far as the fat loss goes, it seems slow while you're in it, you know, compared, of course, to when I started at 172. But in reality, for the size that I'm at, that's actually really good. So anyway, that's where I'm at. I think it's just a lesson in patience. For any of you else out there who get frustrated, like, try to wait it out, you know. There were a couple, you know, moments where you're like, man, maybe I should just end the round now. Maybe I'm just not going to lose anymore. But, you know, I'm really not hungry at all. I'm doing fine on the 500 calories. And it's more just being patient, you know. It's hard to be patient. I don't think we're taught that these days. So I'm like, you know what? I need to do the full thing. Because Dr. Simeon said, regardless of whether you lose any more fat, you need to do the full 3 weeks. If you run out of fat to lose, then you just up your calories a little, but you need to complete the 3 weeks. So, you know, I really want to stick this out and complete it. And now that I saw my fat go down this morning, of course, that was exciting, because I may be getting a little farther. So I know some of you mentioned, like, oh, maybe you've already, you know, gotten rid of all your abnormal fat, and that's really sweet of you guys. But I know that that's impossible. I've seen some photos of others who have kind of reached their ultimate goal with HCG, and I know that I have more fat than them. You know, we all have different body types, of course, and I'm just kind of naturally a little more muscular body type. I've never had a, you know, a thin body type. And I'm just naturally tend to be more stocky up here also. I think I've always been that way. So, but other than that, I do still have, you know, some flab on my hips and thighs and stomach and belly. I'm totally happy with my body though, where it is. I'm not, if this were the end, I would be very happy. I was happy before I started this round, actually, to be honest, but it was just that I won't be unhappy if I lose another, you know, 5 to 10 pounds of fat. Basically, like when I went and had my hydrostatic body fat test done, I was at 33 pounds of fat, and he said, technically the only fat that I really need is like 20 pounds worth of fat. So there's actually like 13 pounds of fat that I have or had that my body doesn't need in order to function well. So yeah, so you know, for me, I like projects, and right now my body is my project, and yeah, it feels good to just continue on that journey, you know. I am excited to get back to CrossFit. I miss it. It's been 8 days now since I've been, and it feels like forever. So I'm like, oh, I'm probably getting out of shape, but like I said, it's all a process, and it's cycling things, and I'm really learning to be patient through this process. And I should be done soon, you know. I'm only going the 21 days, I think, unless for some reason I just, you know, unless I see it moving a little more gradually this last half. If that happens, I don't know. Maybe I'll try to do a few extra days, but I'll probably end up ending after the 21. So only 9 more days. 9 more days. That's not very long. So that's my update. I felt like I owed that to you. Sorry this is so long, but I haven't checked in a little bit, I think, hopefully. So I will talk to you guys soon. Take care.